It's been almost 3 years since we first learned about these customer abuses or potential customer abuses. Charlie Scharf's only been on the job for a few months. Where do we stand with them sort of reestablishing that public trust with consumers as well as regulators?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. As you pointed out, this really exploded into the public eye in 2016 with the revelation of the fake accounts. Now it's 2020. There have been, that and the fallout led to the exit of 2 CEOs. They did a whole 6-month-long CEO search last year for an external CEO. Charlie Scharf came in, and now he's really just taken a cautious tone about how much work the bank has left. He's saying, I'm not saying any of this is going to be done this year, and as he's been, it's a massive company, so he's been combing through all of the units. He just started the job in October.
Sure.
But in that time, earnings a couple weeks ago was the first time he talked to the market, and he really was very cautious in not promising anything.
And it doesn't really hurt him to be extra cautious either, because, as you said, he's an outsider. The previous 2 CEOs were those who were inside the company, had kind of shepherded the company through a lot of this. So even if they weren't directly responsible, they were somehow kind of implicated in everything.
Right. Well, especially, last week we saw the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, that's Wells Fargo's main regulator, and they issued notices of charges, so civil charges against 8 former Wells Fargo executives. And these are the leaders. The former CEO, John Stumpf, was banned from the industry. He settled, so he agreed to a $17.5 million fine and an industry ban. And then you had, 5 others that were fighting. And these are all former top executives.
I'm just curious, though, his comments that he made on the call, on the conference call, specifically this idea that they had sort of a long way to go. Well, he was specifically talking about the relationship with regulators, because they still have sort of a cap, right?
So they have a bunch of, more than 10 outstanding consent orders with regulators, and one of them is an asset cap from the Federal Reserve, so it bans them from growing beyond a certain point, and that's been in place about 2 years now. And he, under previous regimes at Wells Fargo, they had been saying, oh, well, we expect to satisfy the requirements of this consent order by, X date, and they had adjusted that a couple times.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And now he's saying, I'm not giving any guidance there.